I've now read all of Emily Henry's adult contemporary romances. Are they just like adult contemporaries? I've read all of them. So now we're going to rank them from least favorite to favorite. No slander, only love. So let's do this. I'm so excited. So I've seen a few people on Bookstagram share their rankings, and it's really funny because every time I, take a peek, I look, I can't help it. I want to see. They're always very different than mine. So we're just going to start with my least favorite. Of course, move on to my favorite. I will share very briefly what the books are about, the kind of tropes you can expect if you have not read any of her books and you don't know. So it's kind of like an Emily Henry guide, but also I just want to share my favorites. That's the truth of it. So on that note, my least favorite is Happy Place. Some people love it. They think it's the best thing since sliced bread. They think it's so romantic. And then there are people sort of like myself where it just didn't work. This one follows our main character, Harriet, who meets this guy named Wynn. And they just hit it off. They click. It's cosmic. You can tell that they're meant to be. And they've been together for many moons. They've been together for a while. But something happens and they break up. But they decide to not tell anyone, which is a pickle because there's this annual friend event that they go to. It's at a cottage. There's tea with the friend group and there's tea with the cottage. Basically, this is going to be the last trip ever. So Wynn and Harriet decide, let's not ruin the trip. Let's just pretend that we're still together. We can do that. That makes sense. Tropes you can expect. There's a little bit of fake dating, second chance romance. Of course, there is dual timeline. This works for some people. It doesn't work for others. I personally really like it, and I didn't find that to be a problem in this book whatsoever. And you have this friend group that offers a found family vibe. I did find the friend group to be it was, what's the nicest way for me to say this? There was drama, there was communication problems, and some unhealthy dynamics, which felt like something we saw a lot of in this book. At least that's how I saw it. There was so much happening that I felt like I was treading water. I just wanted to be invested in the relationship, and there was just so much unhealthiness happening. There was a lot that the characters were dealing with on their own, so that this just felt super stuffed, just with so many things. And I felt overwhelmed. And because of all of that, it was hard for me to be invested in the relationship. I have a very full, in-depth review on Goodreads that I wrote right after I read this. So you can check that out if you want to. But because of all those reasons, that's why this one is my least favorite. Now we are moving on to my second least favorite, but I just want to say, just a disclaimer for the books moving forward, all of these books I've rated at least 4 stars. I don't know between 4 and 5 what they were, but I know that they were at least 4 stars. That being said, the next book we're going to talk about is The Great Big Beautiful Life. First of all, I was shocked. My friend messaged me the other day and she told me that people are not vibing with this book, and my jaw was like this. Even though that this book is in this spot, it was really good. We're digressing. Let's talk about it. The female main character in this, Alice, is one of 2 authors that is basically being vetted to write a memoir for this very infamous person. She was very popular. She was a celebrity. She came from a big family, a big media family, but she disappeared. So this memoir it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. So Alice goes to Georgia. She meets a celebrity, and said celebrity goes, you, Alice, and you, Hayden, the male main character, you're going to stay here for a month. And during that month, you're both going to interview me separately. During that time, I'm going to decide who I want to write my book. So of course, you've got this writer vibe. It's rivals to lovers because they both want the same job. It's a small town romance, but really it's this mystery that's kind of the center of everything. I feel like people might not have known what to expect going in, and that's why some people might not be vibing with it. I don't know. I really don't know about this. For me, this is very much Emily Henry meets Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's giving Daisy Jones. It's giving Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo with the classic Emily Henry style. You've got well-developed characters. You've got this swoon-worthy romance that just makes sense. A whole lot of healing. It's just a great book. The only reason I'm putting this in this spot is because I just read it, but I don't tend to pick up these books whenever I'm looking to reread something. It had quite an emotional impact on me. Therefore, when I go to reread a book, I'm just I don't know. I don't know if I really want to feel all those things right now. So I can't relate to people really not liking it. This just isn't a book I'd pick up on a random Sunday. But still very good. This next book, though, I would pick up again, and that is People We Meet on Vacation. This one also very controversial. Some people really don't like this book, and some people absolutely love it. I'm pretty neutral. I think it's fun, but the movie's going to come out soon, so of course I have to reread it. So this one follows our main character, Poppy. She meets this guy named Alex. They have to road trip from school all the way home. It's giving When Harry Met Sally vibes, okay? The movie is stellar. It's top tier. It's fantastic. They're very much opposites, but they've become really good friends to the point where every year, because of Poppy's work, she's a travel blogger or something, they go on a vacation together, except something happened and now they don't do that anymore. Until Poppy's like, you know what? No, I want to go on a vacation with Alex. So that's exactly what they do. This is friends to lovers, opposites attract, of course. Such a great vacation read. Dual timeline. You're trying to figure out what happened. Why aren't they going on these vacations anymore? What What happened to their friendship? Was it a fight? Was it romance? I just had to know with this, and that really kept me reading. Again, I don't understand why people hate this one. I didn't. I didn't hate it, and I'm counting down the days until we get a trailer because I know that movie is going to be good. So on that note, third last goes to people we meet on vacation.
I just want to say a massive thank you to Storybug for sponsoring this video. I believe that everyone deserves to be the main character in their own story, because imagine being a kid and reading a book where the main character looks exactly like you. This is where Storybug's customized children's books enters the chat. First, you're going to head over to their website and you're going to pick your own adventure. Honestly, this took me a minute because there are so many to choose from, but once I did, I started to customize my books. They make it so easy to do. You get to add personalized messages inside, and I just think this makes the greatest gift for any young reader. So head over to Storybug's website to grab your own personalized books today.
Now we're moving into top 3, which I'm a little nervous about, only because these change for me, especially the next 2. In this moment, I think I'm gonna put Beach Read here. This is Emily Henry's first adult romance book, adult contemporary book, and it's so perfectly bookish. So this follows our female main character named January, and she writes romance books, but she is creatively constipated at this time, so she has not been able to write any romances. And our other main character, Gus, he writes literary fiction, but he also is experiencing some problems with writing his next book. I kind of like to think of this as fate. January and Gus are reunited. There's a whole thing you'll read about in this book. They're reunited and they confess the kind of things that they're going through and they're writing right now. So they decide to strike a deal. Gus will spend the summer writing romance, and January will write literary fiction all summer long. She's going to write the next American novel. And through that, they're going to have to spend time together. They're going to have to see what it's like with the shoe on the other foot. And I love this. I love this book. The characters are so grounded. What they're going through is so real, so relatable. Their romance, loved it. I loved it. I loved everything about this. It feels like a summer read that's perfect for a cottage nights. You've got like iced tea and you've got one of those iPad keyboards that are kind of like a typewriter, and you're just writing and this book's on your coffee table. That's the vibe of this. So you may have guessed there's a little bit of rivals to lovers. There's history and I love it. Grumpy Sunshine, which is my bread and butter. Also the forced proximity trope, which is just, it's perfect. It's great. Toss them together, whether they like it or not, and I will eat it up every single time. I also feel like this takes place in a small town. I think so. So you might get that as well. But in this moment, this is my third favorite Emily Henry book. Will I change my mind the moment I post this? Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But it is really good though. Now we have to talk about my second favorite Emily Henry book, which is Funny Story. And here's the thing. The female main character in this, Daphne, she is set to marry her fiance, but like this guy that she has built this perfect life with, they have it all planned out. He goes on his bachelor trip, comes back and is like, hey, I actually think that I love my best friend. We have to call off this wedding. And she is shocked. She did not see it coming, again, because they curated this perfect life. So she is forced to, I think she would say, start again. I think that this, again, like fate, is aligning her with her true path, allowing her time to figure out who she truly is and what she truly wants. But this happens when she moves in with Miles. And Miles is the male main character in this. And he just so happens to be, follow me, I don't remember their names. So there's Daphne, then there's Daphne's fiance, ex-fiance. Then there's his best friend, the one that he claims that he's fallen in love with. That girl is Miles's ex-girlfriend, who also was living with him. So Miles is like, look, this sucks. This is the worst. I need a roommate. She says yes. So of course we've got the roommates trope. We have a little bit of fake dating. You'll understand that when you read this. And then you have this, I mean, I would call it a slow burn romance. And again, opposites attract. I loved Miles. He's often compared to Nick Miller from New Girl. I like the slightest bit. He's definitely his own character and I loved him. And it's not just the romance that I absolutely love in this, but Daphne's story. I'm so proud of her because to pick yourself up from just like heartbreak, it doesn't matter if you were supposed to marry that person or not. She saw her life with this person and she really built her life in a direction that was very far away from who she is authentically. So she defined that again. And we get to see that in this book. It's perfectly charming. It's so honest. It's so grounded. There's some reality checks, which I feel are very helpful. And also Daphne is a librarian, which I loved a lot because I went to my library a lot when I was a kid. So I felt the library love in this book. I love it. Then of course, the only book that is left is Book Lovers. And Book Lovers is my favorite Emily Henry book. And I'll tell you right now why this is. I've not cried while reading any of Emily Henry's adult books before. This I sobbed. This I cried. Kind of crying where it feels like it comes from like your back and moves forward. Like You're just like, you give it all you have. It felt so much. Okay, on that note, and if you want to read it. So the female main character in this, Nora, she is a literary agent, and she just worked with an author who just had a very successful like small town romance series, I think, something like that. Nora's younger sister is absolutely obsessed with this book, with this series, right? So she suggests to Nora that the two of them take a trip to the place that this is set in. A little summer holiday. And that's where you may or may not run into the male main character in this, Charlie, who is an editor, which means that Nora has seen him about through their bookish connections. I think he's very popular. I think he's very good at what he does. I think he's like cutthroat. People are like, oh, watch out for Charlie. Notes galore. This book just felt like a love letter to sisters. I don't have a sister. I come from a very big family. I don't have a sister. I was so invested in this. You have this small town romance, which I'll never say no to. I just remember loving the banter. I just loved any sort of exchange between Nora and Charlie. I love Charlie. I love Nora. Nora, first of all, love the name. I mean, Nora Ephron, come on. Nora Jones. She made me want to play the piano. I tried, actually, because of her and Vanessa Carlton. And then I was like, this is hard. What are you guys up to? It's not for the weak. And I know that not everyone loves this book. I understand it. That's why reading is subjective. But because of the reaction that I had, it just feels like that moment, that reading experience is frozen in time. It's something that I'll always remember. Like, I will never forget reading The Kingdom of Ash for the first time. I'm not saying they're on the same level, but you know, I also remember reading The Infernal Devices and Catching Fire. There's some books that you just remember forever. This is one of them. And I love it with my whole heart and then some. So those are the books and the rankings. And I would love to know if you have read any of these books, all of her books, how would you rank them? What are your favorites? What are your least favorites? Do you agree with some of the things that I said or not? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. If you want to talk about books with me and other fellow readers, I have a Discord group. We talk about romance books, fantasy books. We talk about all the books, really. We share life and funny videos and fan art and all that good stuff. So that's free to join. The link for that is in the description. And on that note, I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.